we have to trust parents that say there is a God, but they can't explain why He's not physical, but still believe in Him. We gotta understand we're doing all of this to ourselves because we're not trusting ourselves. We're not understanding that we are not these pieces. If it's one God, one intelligence, one love, none of us are nothing. We're just aspects of the one God. We are pieces of the one God. We are dust particles of the one God, having different experience through God. We have to allow a pastor, preacher, a minister to continue to tell us about this God all of our lives. We're not wondering why we're doing that. Following a government that never acknowledges or mentions who is the God we're trusting on the money we have been given. We just doing what people say. But nobody not justifying or clarifying, giving us facts. We are going, has gone, and will go if we don't stop. The education system that does not want God in there, or conversation about why God can't be in there. We can't have that. We see the world is suffering as a whole because we are divided. Because everyone wants to be right about whatever they want to be right about and glorified about it. And we all are one human being seeing the human experience in a different way. Who is this God that refuses to come shut this shit show down? Because everywhere there is suffering. Why does not God shut it down? They said God is mighty, powerful. He gave up His only Son so that we could live like wicked, dark, unloving, divided creatures out here. Is this God? Because this God is outside of yourself. That God is the mirror to the divine in you. That's the shadow side of you. Because God is everything. He's the devil and the light. You see the dark and the light, the love and the heat. One God, one intelligence, one love. You can use the love in a not so loving way. You can have intelligence, but not have a lot of intelligence. And there is one God that connects us all. And that God lives inside of us. Because He is the all. The as above, so below, the as within, so without. We can't keep saying God is all, but He ain't us. He not in us, He outside of us. We got to get rid of that programming. We got to look at what we're doing our own selves. Nobody's doing anything to us. Because we don't want to stop and become in the moment and understand we just a spirit and a soul having a human experience in an avatar body. The avatar body is not. It is not you. It is not. It is not you. It is a vessel that you needed to use to house your spirit and your soul to have the human experience. So we're not going to change. We're going to suffer. The age of Aquarius is asking us to know what we know we know. To stop believing things because somebody said so. But to know it because you know it from experience. So we need to start looking at our life experiences. We need to stop repeating these cycles for generations after generations after generations. We need to understand what we're doing before we go teach our children anything. Because we don't have it together to be teaching children anything. We have to make a change, point blank. First of all, we got to give it all up. See, we're not willing to give it all up. We know the government doing us all types of things. It's what we see. Well, if they're doing it, then why we can't do nothing about it? You see? Because the fear is in the way of realizing that people only do what you let them do. And if I would find more information, if I would know myself, I would know who to deal with and who not to deal with, what to do and what not to do. You see? How to love and not to hurt, but we're not looking to work on ourselves. We program to keep pointing the finger at somebody, which speaks volumes about the person who's pointing. They're weak. They refuse to look at their strengths. They refuse to look at their lack. They refuse to look at their lust. They refuse to look at their disconnect. Because we all are connected to that one God that everybody say they love. You see? Everybody say they know God, but I don't think nobody knows God. Because if we all knew God like we say we know God in these Christian churches and all these people who talking and they ain't saying nothing, the world wouldn't be the way it is. God is love. God is all. So we want to keep all. We want to be on this planet. I think we need to get God, huh? We got to find out where God is. It's not out there nowhere. The parents want us to believe in something that's physical. The pastor want to keep telling us about God like we can't do it for ourselves. The government don't even acknowledge the God. You see what I'm saying? The education system say you can't have God. So who is this God outside of us? It's the God that's in you. It's the God in me. It's what nobody is ever going to teach you that's doing wickedness out there. Because if they teach you the God is in them or in you, they would have to stop doing darkness. Because that God and you know what you're doing. You're going to fight to do the right things because you know God is inside of you. So that's how God see when we do all of this wrongdoing out there. Lust, greed, buy, sell, trade, food, fucking fight. That's how God knows, because God lives in us. God is all. That's how he can see all, because everybody who got eyes is God. That's how he everywhere. Because everybody who is anybody is God. So again, I just came brought the message. We're not the me soup. Go within yourself. Go within yourself. Sit with yourself. Leave the government alone. Y'all don't want to stop working. Y'all don't want to quit these jobs. Y'all don't want to stop paying all these taxes and stuff that y'all know these people doing. Y'all charging y'all arm and a leg for it. We don't want to say, I don't want all of this here. I just want God. Y'all keep saying you got God, but if you got God, then you should be going through hell. Mm-hmm. We shouldn't be catching hell. We just spirit and soul. So we let go of the world, then we can see God. Nothing in this world is for us. We don't keep nothing, so what are we doing all this for? This is what I keep asking the Holy Spirit. People keep doing all this for what? Nothing is for us. We're not keeping anything. So why are we doing it? Why are we hurting each other? And saying God in the same sentence. Why are we not holding each other accountable to be better, to be more like God? Help one, reach one, and teach one. We have to ask ourselves the serious question. What are we doing out here? What are we doing out here? It doesn't matter the color of the skin. It doesn't matter what height, what size, none of this, how much school you went to, and all this. That don't have nothing to do with anything. Love is it. That's all there is. God, intelligence, and love. That's all there is. So if you have God and you connect to the God, he's going to make you aware of what I just said. And that you will love people. Keep trying to love people, but we're not trying to love on each other. We keep on trying to be right and wrong and hurt each other and connive and continue to work and build a kingdom for the wickedness. God's kingdom is love. God's kingdom is unity. God's kingdom is oneness. kingdom is I am my brother's keeper. But we keep on doing something for wickedness kingdom that don't acknowledge God. So we have to ask ourselves what we're doing. We're doing it to ourselves. Nobody doing us nothing. Nobody's doing us anything. We're doing it to ourselves because we continue to be conformed to the world, being in it and not of it. We're doing everything except seeking ye the kingdom and righteousness. Seeking the kingdom and righteousness. Know thyself. We're doing everything except for that. And that's why we're in this what we're in. And that's why we'll never rise until we find the God in us. That's when we rise. None of this matters. Without God, we can't have it. People not looking at that. Without God inside of us, the light, the energy, the vibration, the frequency, we can't have this experience. So again, all of the narrative, not a narrator, is to keep us away from the God in us. That's what the narrator does. Keep us from seeking ourselves. So again, God is within us. So the narrator keeping us from God. Telling us God is coming from somewhere. You gotta ask yourself, why would God not come stop this shit show? Just sit with that. Nobody wants to sit with that. Why wouldn't God be here? What will cause God to not to stop it? Come fix us, save us, help us, do it for us. What would cause God to not to do it? He gave up his only son that we could live. Speaks volumes. So why he ain't come and see what the people give up his son for? Y'all gotta ask yourself the question. That y'all believe God gave up his only son to save y'all for the living sin. Who does that? I bet y'all wouldn't give up your child for nobody. Everything that y'all been given is lies. It is lies. Unconsciously, that's what y'all doing. Y'all giving up each other. Y'all giving up each other so y'all can have life. Y'all gotta understand mental foolery. That ain't the word I want to use. When you love on you, you gonna understand what love is. And when you love on you, you gonna see when somebody ain't being loved on. And if you love you and you got God in you, it's nowhere in the world you gonna see somebody suffering and don't want to help them. See, we disconnected from God. That's why we can't have compassion, sympathy, and empathy for one another. Because we don't love ourselves. So when you don't love yourself, you can't sympathize with nobody else's pain. You gotta sit in your own one. And that's what a lot of people don't want to do. Sit in their pain. But feeling it is healing it. Feeling it will get us closer to God. Because once we get through the pain, we're still here to tell a story. So it's about knowing yourself, knowing the body, mind, and the spirit. So I'm just a messenger. I brought it. We got to stop doing what we're doing. We got to stop living lies. We're going to have to change if we want to see a change. And it has to start with the man in the mirror. That's it and that's all. Because God lives inside of us. His essence, his frequency, the vibration, the energy. Are you operating in a godly way? Godly is divine. Godly is sacred. Godly is love. That's what it is. The frequency of love. The energy of sacred. The vibration of divine. That's what God is. People are truly waiting on something physical to pop up, to show up. But if that was the case, then you got to ask yourself, why must we suffer so much? If God can just come back again. Why would he make us suffer so long if he can come back again? You got to ask yourself the questions. Why is he allowing this to happen? If y'all going to say you're waiting for God, then you got to ask why God making y'all wait. There's a reason for it. There's a purpose for it, if you believe that. He's not going to just come fix it. We were given free will. We were given a free choice to choose down here while we experience being human. God is not going to come down and take your choice from you because he's a man. What did the Bible say? God is not a man that he should lie. He gave us free will and free choice. And if we don't choose to see the world differently, if we don't choose to do something differently, if we don't choose to change, God is not going to come down here and say, give me that free will back. We're suffering because we're suffering because we don't want to look at it differently. We don't want to change. We don't want to use love. We don't want to ask somebody, help me. We don't want to come together. We don't want to help somebody who needs help. God is not coming to do anything for anybody. It's the God in you that's going to do everything for you. Living life in love, peace, and harmony for somebody else. Because it's the God in you that's making you love on somebody else. You're not anyone. It's the God in you that's loving somebody else. But you got to connect to that love in you. And nobody don't want to understand that. Y'all have been divided in the mental energy. They're taking you to your left side when God is in the right conscious brain. Means we have to change. We got to understand what love is. Love means to give up yourself for somebody else. That's what God did. God gave up his son for us. We got to give up our lives for somebody else. We got to do what God would do. And then the world changes.
That's right.
So again, who is that God that's in a church? Who is that God that's out there? Because he doesn't seem to want to come. He doesn't seem to want things to be better. He doesn't seem to want to have love. He doesn't seem to want to have unity. Who is that God? Ask yourself the question. Because it's time. It's time to start questioning your beliefs. Because you just believe it. And start asking yourself, what do I truly know? Because this is what I was made to believe. Because belief and knowing is two different things. So we got to look at these beliefs that we have been given from something outside of ourselves when the Bible clearly says, seek ye the kingdom and righteousness. A lot of people know right from wrong. Children know right from wrong. So I'm very sure adults know right from wrong. We just don't want to change. It's hard to change. It takes work. And it's easier to do the wickedness. It's easier to do wrong. But again, everything comes with a price. That's why we're suffering. Because we're choosing to do wrong. And we're working hard to do the wrong. Everybody working hard to do all of this wrong that's being done in the world. So why not take that energy and put it into doing right? I'm just a messenger. I'm going to get on out here. Let it sizzle in your spirit. Take what you need and leave what you don't. We're going to have to change. We're going to have to ask ourselves the hard questions. Yes? I love y'all. Namaste.